Okay, welcome everybody to the weekly Probate Mastery Group coaching call. Don't really have anything myself to start with this week. We had a great call last week. We got into pre-foreclosures and had some fun with that. So if you have a win, if you have challenges, anything you need to cover, want to cover, how can we help you? Balcom has a win, but no, we don't hear you.
How about now? Am I good now?
Yeah, there you go. We got you.
And I remember a couple of weeks ago, I asked you about having the VA call, and we worked on that. Reworking the framework for when the VA is doing the first touch. Yeah, well, my VA's already knocked out 2 of them so far, doing just that.
Nice. And have you gone on the appointments?
Nah, not yet. I'm scheduled to do the follow-up calls tomorrow, but both of the leads that she scored, I checked the probate dockets, and both of those properties. Not properties, but both of those estates. One has a property. I think someone's living in it, but the other one is vacant.
Okay. So share with us what's the script?
I kind of changed it around a little bit, but basically, what I do is I have her call. If you would you role play with me since you did it with me last week?
Sure.
Okay, so I'll be the VA, and then you can just be the other person on the other end of the phone. So it goes like this: ring, 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 and then you pick up. Hi, Chad.
This is Chad. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Chad, how's it going? My name is Balcom. First and foremost, this isn't a sales call. I'm not a debt collector. My name is Balcom. I'm calling with Buckeye Probate Care. We're a local free service. We help families that recently lost a family member, and unfortunately, they're going through probate. Every week, we speak with the clerk of courts. She lets us know which families she thinks could use the most help. Your family was identified as one of those families. Now, my boss, he's out of the office at the moment. He's helping out another family, but I wanted to see when would be the best time to have him give you a call so we can discuss our services and see how we could probably, help you and your family the best. What would be the best time to call?
I like it, man. So my favorite part of all of it was we have a local free service. That's good language.
Yeah, like I said, I took what you gave me. I kind of reworded it a little bit, but like I've already listened in on her calls. I mean, she's got to adjust a little bit, but it's working.
That's awesome. Do you know what your contact rates are?
Right now, since she's been using this because I just finalized it, her contact rate is she's getting a lot of no answers because she's calling during the time when people are at work. So I would say that it's probably a 15 no answer to 3 answer ratio, 15 to 3. So far she's hitting pretty high.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that. I like that. I mean, you hit all the main components, but you added some good language in there.
One line you said in your role play, you said, we identified families that are in the most need of help, and you were one of them. And I love that because I probably don't have time to counter you, but I want to know why I need the most help and how you did that. Like now I'm just purely curious. I'm going to answer and engage with you.
Yeah. So I had a list of potential contingencies because I figured that, if you run into a call, if you run into someone who answers the phone and, they're real, for lack of a better word, they're a real dick. She's not trained to go through the Rolodex of, everything that we offer. But the way that I trained her and the way that I wrote it was just don't try too hard to pitch what we offer and the services we provide. That's not your job. Your job today is to see if they will be open to hearing what we offer. And if so, when the best time would be to have her boss, me, call back. And so far, it's worked pretty good.
So 15 calls, 3 contacts, 2 appointments.
Yep.
I'd say it's working. That's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing.
No, thank you, man. I got it from you.
Bill Gross, where have you been all my life? Good to see you here, sir. Maybe you don't have a microphone today. Welcome back. Fed, you're next, buddy. You're in the hot seat. Tell us about your CRM.
Just searching. I have started doing what you and David told me. I have been at least updating, at least for now, on an Excel sheet, about 5 to 10 contacts a day, just to kind of update that. It's actually a lot easier doing it that way, opposed to just having, I have boxes on boxes of contacts, and just looking at it gives me anxiety. So,
Fed, I found something this morning. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
This was a CRM I laid out in 2014, and I knew I had something. I was looking in Word documents, but this mind map. So I haven't decided how I'm going to share this with you guys yet, but this was the monster, one of the monsters that I created. But a mind map helped me visualize what I needed a CRM to do. So for example, if you come out of it and just look at the sales funnel part of it, I had contact type, contact status, contact info, and then under contact details, we had, the rating, all the branches. So this is how, as a few people followed up with me and said, hey, is there something you can give me that shows me how to design and lay out a CRM? This is pretty specific to where my business was at the time, which it was vertically integrated, like between brokerage and investment. But I just found this morning actually on accident, and I'm like, that's what I was looking for last week. It's pretty specific to my business at the time, but it is something that I have that might help you as you lay out what your needs are in a CRM.
Thank you. I appreciate it a lot. Oh, and I see Kat posted a link.
She
Thank
beat
you.
me to it. I was trying to do it. Perfect. Thank you. Anyways, so are you going to hit your September, was it the 15th is your deadline?
Yes, sir.
You feel good about that?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Sir, one step at a time.
All right. Who else has something? Rich Ransom, good to see you. Anybody need any help? Anybody have any wins, any struggles?
Chad, it's Dan. How you doing? Hey, quick question for you. So I got a call from an attorney on a probate mailing I did. It's a property near me. It is an absolute disaster. Needs everything and then some. I did a quick search in the deeds for the property to look for the deed and a mortgage and things like that. There was probably 25 pre-foreclosures, refinances, liens. I mean, it's a disaster in terms of what they, all the neglect and what they haven't paid on the property. And it looked like the last mortgage was about 275. So I guess my question is, I know they've got some notices of default because I saw them taped to the door. On something like that, what would you do with it? Would you try to touch base with the bank, or would you just let it go into foreclosure? Or what would you do with it?
How far underwater is it? Have you added up all the liens? And
well, I don't have access to all the liens on the property. From what I could tell, there was originally a $170,000 mortgage. Then there was one for $275 about 10 years later. And there are probably 20 entries of non-payment, things like that. And then a couple of assignments and a couple of liens on the property from the city. The property is, all done, maybe worth $350. But it's an absolute disaster. It's almost a tear down.
okay. I mean, typically, you can short sale it, and you're going to have to, whoever your short sale facilitator is going to have to wade through all that bullshit, because you're going to have to negotiate. Each of those liens are going to have to sign a release, and there's not going to be enough money to go around. Now, your senior debt well, the senior position will be any back taxes. Are the taxes paid or no?
I didn't see any liens on the mortgage or on the deed at all from the town, but I assume that there probably is. I didn't see anything that was registered in there.
Yeah, if you just look in GIS, it should tell you the last tax bill and last tax paid. And if they haven't paid, for more than 2 years, it may be a waste of time, because if you go do all the work, then the county could just auction it off anyways. But if there's no senior debt like that, if there's not IRS debt or tax liens against it, then you can go, do the short sale. The other thing you can do is turn it over to a debt collection, like an attorney that negotiates debt. Things like, most people know they're not going to get anything, so they'll take pennies on the dollar. I would probably attempt the short sale first. If you're set up to do short sales, just list it, get a quick offer from your investor. That will stop any foreclosure proceedings. And then just let your investor know this one's going to take a while, and it will be convoluted, because we're going to have to negotiate with multiple lien holders. It can be done. If you just have to figure out, is it worth your time? And I would say if you're facilitating it, it's not. If you hire a short sale facilitator, why not? They're going to do all the work, and they have to get themselves paid.
Yeah. The property, like all done in that area, it's a very small lot, small property. All done, it's probably worth, I don't know, maybe close to 400, but it needs 200. To clean it up. I was, just kind of a quick and dirty on it. I was like, geez, it might not even be worth looking at anymore, putting any more time into it.
The other thing, and this is not very helpful to the family, but every once in a while, like, you get a property that's just such a damn mess. It's literally not worth the work, even if you want to help the people. And the best play on those is to just watch the newspaper and show up at the courthouse if you want it.
Yeah,
because that'll cleanse the title and you just pick it up.
yeah. The personal representative is 93. So she's in rough shape too. She actually lives in my town, but it's, I don't know, just looking at the liens on it and the mortgage, it's got to be more than what it's worth.
Yep. Definitely things you can do with it, but those take some time. So you've got to look at, what's the time value of your money and is it worth putting the time in? If you can find a good attorney who can negotiate those debts down, he may get it into territory where there's equity in it. And if you did that, you would want to make sure you had it under contract. You can negotiate them all down and go ahead and close on it. If you can get it to where you can actually fund the deal and close, and then they'll wipe off all the liens. It's hard to tell without seeing a full list whether it's worth it or not. I've had success with hospitals. We've had success with the IRS. A lot of people will settle out for pennies on what they're owed. It just takes time to figure out who the right person is, get the person with the authority to make that decision, get the paperwork turned around. It can be an administrative nightmare, but it can be done for sure.
Okay, great. Thank you.
What else we got? Hey, you do have a microphone, Bill.
Well, one of my testimonials for your service and coaching is I've done so well that I generally take off at noon and go for a swim for the swim team. So today I'm going for a walk instead of swimming. So I have myself on mute. But yeah, to answer your question, I have a couple. I have an appointment today on Zoom. I have one tomorrow as well.
Okay. And these are both listings.
Yeah, that's all I do. I just refer out buyers.
Yeah. What's your transaction pace right now in probate, Bill? And I think you were on track to do 50 this year. Was that right?
Not quite. So I'm with the XP and make icon at the cap, which took me 11 and 20 more. So 31 is my goal by the end of November. And I'm on track for that. I've done 35 in the last 12 months.
Okay. So you're about a pace of about 3 a month now. 2.5
to 3. I need to get to 3. I'm at 2.5. I've done pretty well and done some traveling and family time and some investment stuff. Some of the other things that go along with the business. But yeah, about 2.5 a month to 3.
So I'm gonna give you guys the opportunity here. I'm really proud of you, Bill. That's awesome. And I know you guys.
Yeah, it's all because of you. I started with you 2 years ago, March. I had zero production. I was coming out of coaching, out of recruiting and management. I didn't have a lead. I didn't have a listing. I didn't have a buyer. I had friends and family. I say why. But I took your probate mastery. I spent a month writing a plan. And I just worked out Plan Plus. It's all because of you.
That's awesome. Thank you for the credit. I know it was really your hard work. But so guys, you have somebody here who was fighting the cash flow roller coaster, who didn't know where the next deal was coming from, and now he's running at a pace of in a high medium price market. 3 close roughly coming from his probate pipeline and earning more. The fact that he gets to take more time off now that he has consistency. And Bill, I'm sure you're already thinking of it.
Right. Actually, I went to Florida to do some research on that, and
that's where it gets exciting, when you have excess cash rolling off and then you start making passive income investments, and then the money that you made doing probate is making money for you in 5 other ways. That's when this gets really fun and exciting.
Hey, Bill, Winston Covington here. I've got a question I've been wanting to ask you. In prospecting probate business, what are your top 3 sources of probate business? I know you have different, manners of prospecting probate. What are the top most successful techniques for you?
The thing I try to focus on is, different forms, but they have to be synergistic. They have to help each other. I want to leverage what I'm doing in one over the other. So I prospect attorneys, not so intensely, but I reach out to them regularly. I used to go to court every day. I still reach out to them regularly, email, mail, phone occasionally. I work with investors on buying property at LA County Court. I go there, I meet up with attorneys there. That helps that process as well. What else do? I do a lot of stuff, man. I think I just really right now, to be really honest about it, I just try to help as many people as I can. I'm not like focusing more on the process and the leads. Like I do, once I do a weekly call myself, and I get 40, 50 people on that a week, and I email out about what I'm doing. And I think that's been my focus, is just helping investors, helping other realtors. I get realtor referrals, and contact attorneys is still probably my most effective.
Thank you.
But I'm not cool. Oh, of course, anytime. Yeah, Chad, one of the things I've done from what you did, I kind of took, I think, a lot of your teaching. That was the source of it. And I really try to focus on 2 or 3 different generation methods rather than just cold calling petitioners. I said, well, how can I do that and attack the angle from another angle, or attack the target from another angle? So I've always tried to work around things that work together, if that makes sense.
Cool. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. Jonathan, welcome back, man. You got any stories? Tell us about your win. How many appointments you have this week?
Only had 3 this week, so I'm not doing it like I want to. But yeah,
Lack of response to marketing or lack of effort on your part?
response to marketing for the most part, and then I think I'm gonna have to do some things outside the box in order to make things happen, and I just hadn't. So it's a little of both.
Okay. When's the last time you were in an attorney's office?
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Maybe it's time.
It is time. It is time.
When you're marketing, when you're coming up dry on marketing, a good way the reason I bring that up is it's, one attorney relationship can result, multiple deals, but it can also really pump you up, right? When it kind of validates that your service is valuable. So if the consumers aren't responding to us, we can go out to our referral network and have that business to business conversation and remember, what we're doing actually really is valuable to the consumer, but also to these other people that I've involved in it, like to my team. So like a discouragement exercise, when you feel like what you're doing isn't working, that's usually a good day to just put everything down and go provide value to the attorneys, or, go lay out a piece of content. Like, we've got folks that are doing, interviews with social workers, interviews with grief counselors, and there's things like that you can do on those days instead of pounding your head against the desk, making another phone call. So I don't think I saw you on last week's call. We've had some really good conversations about that with folks in markets where it sometimes makes more sense to do more inbound marketing, like creating content and communities, and than it does the outbound marketing, like sending another letter or hammering out another 10 phone calls. Sometimes we just need a break, right? Anyway, just something to consider. Like I'm as guilty as anyone. I tend to go straight to self-criticism when it's completely ineffective. Like, you're better off if what you're doing isn't working, just change gears for a week. Go work on the attorney side of the business.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I'll create some more content as well.
I know Steve has a follow-up. He's part of that. I think you're unmuted.
I had a referral for an attorney today that I went and saw his presentation last week at one of the title companies. And it was a great conversation because it went from, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" to, "Oh, Steve, I'm glad you called me." And it was really cool to get that feedback, that connection that I think we're starting to develop now. But when you go prospect attorneys, would you recommend producing one of the brochures and having that to take in, or just go in and shake hands and follow up with a letter? How would you go about that? Maybe that's a good question for Bill to follow up on.
We've had good success with just, trifold brochures that basically summarize your service. Go
Did
ahead.
Bill say he used the trifold, all the leads trifold?
I do. It's been great, because to be honest, I use it. I keep it in my pocket when I go to meet with an attorney. I always give them one just to show them what I'm doing. It kind of explains the whole game plan, so they get it right away.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. And like, if you go ahead and buy the little plexiglass stands, and it's pretty easy to get the attorney to put that on the front desk because nobody else has ever brought something like that in or asked. And it's a really good reason to take advantage of it. It's a good reason to drop in every week or two. I just wanted to stop in and say hi, brought you guys some donuts, or, brought you a veggie tray and a few of these things to fill that back up. And the familiarity is important in a referral relationship, right? So if they see you every other Thursday when you drop in with a treat for them and refill the brochures, you're the first and only person they're going to think of when they need a real estate professional, right? So we've had really good success with that. I mentioned like treats, donuts and stuff because it works. I mean, something that simple, like one of the top, she was an ISA, but she did 90% of the work. He basically would go on the appointment and get the contract signed. She did everything else, but she would go to a little bakery, whatever looked good to her that day, she would pick up and actually take by the attorney's offices. And, it wasn't a ton, just, $7 or $8 worth of something. And she would drop by, and man, they covered her up. Like, she did incredibly well with that. And it was like Italian Christmas cookies, like around Christmas. And she would take different things like an Easter lily in, and kind of the it's any kind of a treat like that, anything you can do. I used to do it with all my title companies with lenders. I would just on a whim, just drop in a Little Caesars, buy like 12 hot and ready pizzas, stop in, be like, hey guys, I just had lunch, thought I'd bring you some. But when I needed title in 2 days, like if I needed clear title, and I actually, well, here's one of the ways I cashed in on that favor. I actually sold. I had a friend call me and she's like, listen, I'm in a bind. I've got another multifamily project that's about to foreclose. I need cash in the next 72 hours. And I'm like, you got to be shitting me. So I liquidated an 11 unit apartment building, 53 hours from start to finish. I mean, contract, title, and closing in 53 hours. And it was because I did those little things for my team, like, right, my external team, my vendors. So little stuff like that, like you might spend $70 on pizza this week, but it'll make you $20,000 or $30,000 in a few months. So anyways, just with attorneys, it's kind of the same thing. Just whatever you can do to make them feel like they're appreciated and make yourself memorable. Fed, I think you had something to add too.
Not to add, it's like confession time / accepting the role of being the punching bag for the next few minutes. It's okay. It's cool. So ironically, Steve and Bill essentially touched on what I wanted to go over. So I will admit that I have been horrible at approaching attorneys. I don't even know where to start with the attorney, probably because I'm over analyzing and complicating it for myself. So for example, let's hypothetically say this call ends in 30 minutes and I say, all right, you know what? Today is when I start with the attorneys. I have leads from all the leads. But what is step one? I call them, gatekeeper, hey, who are you? You know, I want to talk to with.
Step one is figuring out why you're valuable to a law firm.
Okay.
Can you
Absolutely. It's here to help families navigate the challenging probate process. And I'm here to act as an extension to the attorney. So anything that I could take off of your hands is something that my team and I would be glad to do in order to facilitate and speed up the process for you and your client.
Okay. And then the other part of that, how can you help them get more cases? Because they're unemployed every morning just like you, but they have non-solicitation restrictions that you don't. How can you benefit them?
I would be more than happy to formulate a marketing strategy where I can include your services to.
How many months worth of leads do you have? Like 2 years?
No, because I stopped at one point because I had too many expenses. So I would say give or take, I have about 7.
Okay. And how many per month?
Let's call it an average of 85 because it fluctuates from 80 to 109.
Okay, so you have roughly 560 leads in there that are pro se who chose not to have legal representation.
Yeah.
That's enough for a campaign, man.
Oh,
What
sure.
if you go into an attorney's office and say, listen, one thing I've noticed in the last 7 months, I haven't done as much as I should have prospecting. So I'm getting ready to do a campaign. I want to reach out to every family who has engaged in the probate process without legal representation. And I want to send them a letter that talks about some of the reasons that's a bad idea. The reason I'm here today is I need an attorney that I can trust. And I see that you guys are very successful and you're doing a lot of business in the county. So I wanted to give you the first opportunity. I'd like to design a probate checklist or a probate timeline that defines each and every little point, legal and non-legal, of the entire process start to finish. And then everything that's legal is going to be colored in whatever color you choose, your firm color. Everything else will be in black. And at the footer, we'll have your name, your firm name, your attorney name, your web address, whatever. And I'll help you by including that in a letter campaign to all 560 of those. Some of them will already have attorneys. Some of them will continue to fumble through it on their own, but I'm pretty confident some of them actually need your help. And you can use, I'm reaching out, I'm already paying for the postage and paying for the mail. I'm just willing to offer you to it's important to me that I can create a relationship with your firm. I'm willing to take on that marketing expense and burden for you. So have you got 30 minutes to just sit down and help me co-design this piece?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
the way I came up with that number, typically in California, usually around 20% of monthly filings will not have, will be pro se, it's assumptive, but you've
Yeah.
probably got about 500 people in there that chose not to have an attorney. And if they haven't created a mess, they're probably not far, because California is really complicated. It's hard for.
Yeah, for sure. And is this a quote unquote pitch that you would do on more than one attorney, or would you kind of try to see through that list how often it is that, for example, you see Chad has 90% of these people, or does that make sense?
Yeah, only you can decide. I mean, one attorney can feed you for life. If you try to manage 50 of those relationships, you're probably not going to be great at any of them, right? So only you know what number it is. I would encourage you at first, like, let's get you 3. Let's start with 3. So if you take those 500, split the list into 3 pieces, and go do that with 3 different attorneys. And over time, you don't have to worry about who was on what list or anything like that. Over time, like, you'll generate some business for them. And you'll get some in return. But I would say that anyone listening to this, you should have 3 really solid attorney relationships where, I mean, you have real referrals coming from them. And if you don't have that, it's a good goal. Like, let's get that before the end of this calendar year. Let's see if we can get you where you have, a relationship where if you pick up the phone, you wouldn't feel guilty calling this attorney saying, I just talked to this family and X, Y, and Z is going on. What the hell is my next step? Because they can be a really good resource for you in helping families navigate things you've never encountered before. But eventually they're going to call back and be like, listen, this family needs to sell this house in a hurry. Can you get over there today? And they're outstanding referrals. So I'd say let's set your goal at 3 and your outbound effort. And just to kind of recap, I mean, we talk about this a lot, and one of the next best place is going back through these calls. So if you go to probatemastery.com, click on podcast, you can search attorney and bring up these conversations. Kat does an incredibly good job of segmenting these out where we can actually find what we need. But go back through and listen to some of these ideas in longer form. But you can take them a referral for estate planning. So like if you have family members who don't have trusts, they should have, and you know that. So turn them into a referral. Open the door to those attorneys and say, listen, I've holding myself to a higher standard of service this year. And I realize half of my damn database, which you don't have one, but we're not going to tell him that, half of my database doesn't have an estate plan. So my goal is to get as many people into a proper asset protection plan as possible this year. And that starts with me making sure I have the right law firm to partner with. Are you guys interested in offering an hour free consultation to the referrals that I send you that say, yes, we're ready to have that conversation? They run their business on referrals. Of course, they're going to say yes. So you go do a sphere of influence campaign. You find all the people in your life, professionally, personally, that say, oh, I meant to do that, but I just haven't gotten around to it. And you turn them into a referral. So like say, can I give you an hour of, can I pick up an hour of a probate attorney's time or an estate planning attorney's time to make sure that you and your family, your estate is properly cared for? You at least know the options. If you continue procrastinating, that's up to you. But I can give you an hour of my guy's time. Well, whether they do it or not, you're going to have perceived value, right? Like they're going to know, most everybody knows an attorney is going to be somewhere between $150 and $800 an hour, right? So there's perceived value there. So it's not to be ashamed of, even if it's like friends, family, church members, whatever it is, you're providing real value to them. The attorney is looking for referrals because that's how they have to make their next sale. So they shouldn't have any problem if you send 50 people, right? So that's one way, is generate referrals, proactively generate referrals and open the conversation with a qualified referral that day. That takes a little bit longer. Option 2 is do the collaborative marketing campaign. So sit down, design the checklist, mail it out, and send them the referrals that come off of it. And then there's obviously other ways, like Bill is really outside of the box. He goes to the courthouse and has a presence. So he's got familiarity with the attorneys in his market. Other things you can do is become an affiliate member of the bar in your market. You can become an affiliate member of a fiduciary council where fiduciaries meet on a monthly or quarterly basis. So, but we talk about a lot of these ideas. Those are the most common ones, and you can go back through the podcast notes and pull that stuff up and just search for the word attorney or referral partner, and get some of those ideas. But the idea is, and also in session 2, toward the end of session 2, where we talk about building your referral network, we talk about these things. But between all those resources, what I would suggest is, if you didn't do it when you took the course, get a written plan, like write down, this is my referral strategy. And anytime you feel like shit and you don't want to make phone calls, you fall back to the referral strategy. Just like I recommended to Jonathan earlier, when you're having I'm going to beat on Fed day, like I'm a lazy asshole and there's no wonder I don't have a deal in the pipeline. Like when you're having one of those days, to me, it's I love connecting with good attorneys. Like it's a good conversation. So when you're having a bad day, or when you don't have anything to do, you don't have any appointments, you've caught up on your prospecting, you always fall back to that vendor, your referral network. So whether that's social workers, nursing home employees, attorneys, all of these people that have contact with folks in that end of life phase, you can do this same thing. Like, how can your small business help their small business? And get out there, whether it's on the phone, face to face is best. Like if you can meet face to face with these attorneys, it's far more effective. Gatekeepers are tough. Like if you in the beginning of this, you said, what's the first step? Do I start calling? And then there's gatekeeper. Like it's difficult over the phone. It's not impossible. We've achieved as high as 7% conversion rates doing it on the phone, but it's a lot tougher than going in person, a lot less fun.
Hey, actually, speaking of the getting in front of people, so I'm just going to hover a little bit on the topic you were discussing about getting in front, but I'll slightly tweak it. So in my regular real estate business, I do a lot of door knocking. Okay, so what I've been doing lately, just to have an additional touch, okay, to stay in front of people, I've been going to local businesses in an area that I farm. There's 600 homes. Okay, so what I do is I provide that farm of 600 with a market report every month. Okay, that's one of the items. What I've been doing as well is I've been going to local businesses in the area and have been reaching out to them and asking them, hey, look, local real estate specialist here in the community, and I'm trying to see how, given COVID and how all businesses slowed down a little bit, I wanted to reach out and see how we can help local businesses. And essentially, I'm trying to see if in a marketing piece, whatever that may be, that local business may want to, for example, add, maybe a QR code for that business that I can provide through a marketing team that says, at Chad Corbett's, I don't know, restaurant or whatever, if you apply this code during happy hour, you get half off on your second drink, or whatever that may be. If it's dry cleaning, you get one shirt, whatever that may be, right? It's just an excuse to stay in front of people, okay, while also giving them something. So I'm not asking you for anything, I'm giving you something while my face stays in front of you, whether it's physically or on paper. However, if I'm doing, for example, the marketing for the attorneys where I pay postage and mail, and then I start paying, for all these businesses to be included, eventually you run out of funds. What would you suggest a possible way to either get them to, pay for a portion of that since you're including them? And if so, how would you split that cost? Would you go 50-50? Would you go, does that make sense? Because essentially you're providing them with marketing at a reduced cost because we're putting in the legwork to get in front of them, in front of the clients, and we're staying consistent. So just trying to figure out how to make it cost effective while staying persistent and just staying in front of you, because I'm also doing a social media campaign. So that way I'm in front of you face to face, then through a mailer, and then through social media. That way you're getting attacked from all angles. You're constantly seeing that name.
Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's unreasonable to ask for a 50-50 split on this. I mean, like when we have folks who are investors who don't have a license or vice versa, it's if you get the investor deals, I get the realtor deals, we split it down the middle, right? So it's if you're turning out quality marketing, then they shouldn't be, it's like, hey man, I'll give you half the postcard. All you have to do is cover the cost. I've already got the list, everything's done. And then just line them up for, one, like the pizza place this month, the dry cleaner next month. And then, I don't think you'll have any trouble. I think if you walk
Okay.
into a small business owner and say, hey, how would you like to do a direct mail piece to 600 houses surrounding here and not have to deal with any of the headache? And I mean, what's your postcard cost? Are you around 40 cents?
Right around.
Yeah. So, I mean, hell, we're talking about nothing here. There's really not much cost associated. You'll probably get a higher net gain if you negotiate like, hey man, if I can get a free slice once a week, I'll make sure you guys are in my marketing. Like, you're better off to get free pizza and dry cleaning. You're gonna end up making more money. But you might consider that, like, seriously, like, just what if you foot the bill, don't ask them for any money. Just be like, hey man, like I've been supporting you guys. I come in here at least once a week. What kind of, like, if I throw you in my marketing, what kind of locals discount do I get? Do I get the Kamaina? Anyone who's been to Hawaii will know that. But you could do that. I mean, you could do, like, what do you I mean, you have a lot of nice clothes. I mean, for example, I know you pay for dry cleaning, right? So you could almost barter that where, listen, I'm going to support your business if you can help me out. You guys are great dry cleaners and I've got needs. So you might not have to ask them for cash. You may be able to trade it out in services or food or drinks or whatever. But
Okay.
I don't think it's unreasonable to ask them to pay half of it. And it gives you, like, and I would take it a step further. Instead of saying, hey, put a QR code on here, it's, let's put a blog post on my website. We're going to tell the story you want to tell, and we'll do a video interview, and the QR code will actually land them on your website where you start to get traffic, right? So now they become part of a retargeting audience. So you send the postcard, they scan the QR code, they land on the page. Instead of having half a postcard to tell his story, now he has an unlimited amount of space. He can write anything he wants to write, and you can control the video interview, and you've got local, hyper local content to the neighborhood. So you've got, now people are searching like restaurants in that neighborhood. It starts to come up. You can do things like you can post images and put the video up on his Google My Business page, which will link back to your real estate website. And you can have downloadable coupons, lots of different things. But I would say, give the business half the postcard, let them know that this isn't the place to tell your story, but we need a compelling reason for them to click on to this address or snap this QR code where they can go learn more about your business, see your schedule, whatever. But if you can, try to get it on your website, because that becomes your local content, right? And over time, and you should connect with Grant Cox on this. He's actually doing this now. He's reaching out and he's documenting things like businesses and even like lesser known city parks and things that he enjoys about his neighborhood as he's setting up his farm area. And you and Grant have connected before, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
you might trade some ideas with Grant on this, but he's doing a really good job with this type of, grassroots, really inbound marketing. So, but I think it's a good idea. And I think, just the having the opportunity to interview each business owner in your farm area and build that out as a library. Imagine on the buyer's side, when someone who's looking to buy a home in that neighborhood, imagine when they find that way and they get to meet the guy that owns the pizza shop and the guy that does the dry cleaning and the guy that has the deli, and like they have an opportunity on your YouTube channel or on your blog to get to know all these, know about what's the story of this business, what's the owner most proud of, or whatever they talk about. But it could be a great resource for your inbound marketing effort, but it's also a good way to subsidize your marketing costs by giving them that feature. They pay you, and you may find that rather than saying split this 50-50 with me, be like, listen, there's 600 in my farm area. On average, a campaign costs me $50. I'll do a feature if you give me a $25 gift card or $25 in cash.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That makes sense. And what was I going to say? Since you were talking about doing videos or something like that, can you remind me the camera that you suggested? Because I believe a few months ago, you did suggest. Are you talking GoPro? Because I don't know if you want to do it with a phone. I'm thinking almost, you know how Rosie, when she does all these things, she has some pretty serious equipment. I'm not saying it needs to be videographer type material, but at the same time, you know, sometimes an iPhone video uploads a little blurry or with a lag or something like that. Is there anything that you would recommend, or do you think we should be mic'd up during this interview, or what do you suggest?
Sure. And equipment's important. I find that if I have an iPhone 12 Pro and it's fantastic video, like really good. What I pair my phone with, or I have a microphone. It's a Shure SURE MV88. So Shure Michael Victor 88. It's about $150, I think, for that mic, and it has a little case that it comes in with the dead cat cover to kill wind noise. But I find I have used that microphone in the middle of convention centers and done testimonial videos. It does a fantastic job for the money. So I find that like on a mobile setup like that, if you're not a technical guy, you don't have professional video equipment, that combo is damn near as good. I've got a $10,000 camera sitting on the desktop here that I use right now. I'm shooting on a Logitech 4K. And if I'm going to be outside, I use that combo of that microphone with my iPhone 12 Pro. I shoot like Olympus professional level cameras, but I use it mainly for stills. I find with video, it's just, hey, Grant just showed up. Grant, I just gave Fed the homework to call you. But anyways, I find that the iPhone is more than enough. The autofocus is really fast on it. The thing about Micro Four Thirds and DSLR cameras, if you're going to use them as video cameras, you almost need a videographer running the camera to get the best result. Now, Rosie is using a Sony A6600, I believe, is what she's on. You can pick those up on eBay for, I mean, hell, you can get the body for probably $300 or $400 now. It's still, I mean, it's several years old, but it's still a really good camera.
Yeah.
Fed, I want to say to that, if you do go looking for a DSLR, do a little research. Some of these will connect with your phone via an app, and you can operate the camera directly from your phone. So if you're able to set that up on a tripod, you got a great setup. Just hit record right there, and you can actually see what the camera sees in your phone.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question. It was going to be, if you are doing the interview, let's say you don't have someone to do it. There was two questions. Are you using a tripod, or are you using a stabilizer? And just, you know how stabilizer, you can move it and it'll still constantly stay still.
I think it depends on the nature of the interview. You don't always need a gimbal. Like gimbals are, they're complicated and expensive and kind of a pain in the butt. A tripod will be fine in most cases. And if you need to move, you can set the tripod up here, shoot, and then move to another room and shoot if you wanted to. But I don't think a gimbal is absolutely necessary for the simple video work we're talking about. Grant, to catch you up, Fed's talking about highlighting businesses in his farm area and doing a collaborative marketing campaign. And I told him the stuff you were doing with parks and Google My Business and things like that. So you guys can share a lot of ideas together.
Thinking they should get some glasses like Grant to look more serious.
Yeah, I've been trying to find, like, I'm gonna try to grow some hair like Grant's too. I've got a hard stop in 4 minutes, but Fed, I did want to say, like, if you find a need for professional camera gear, and Grant and I both shoot on the Olympus platform, I love it. Like Sony makes a really good camera. The A series they're awesome, but the glass is really expensive. And Olympus has probably the best combination of features and value that I've found. And I have literally beat that camera all over the world, rain, snow, mud. So if you want to, like Olympus, the OMD series, I'm currently using an Olympus OMD EM1 Mark II. And I know that's a mouthful, but it's, again, you can pick those bodies up used on eBay and get, if you want, if you want to move in that direction, they're incredibly good cameras. It's just, if you're moving around in the frame a lot, the autofocus isn't as fast as a dedicated video camera or an iPhone. So I usually don't recommend it because it does get technical fast when you can just do an iPhone and it's easy. And because like what I've found and just as my own personal behavior, like when I try to, the more professional equipment I use, the more reasons I have to procrastinate or excuses, right? And it's the simpler my setup, the more
Yeah.
content I seem to get done.
Yeah.
But if you do want to move into professional cameras and stuff, Grant has an Olympus set up. I've got one. Happy to save you a ton of time and let you know what lenses to get. And then on cameras, one more thing. There's one of the cameras I've suggested in the past is for the 360 camera, which also has really a 4K video, is the Ricoh.
I remember you bringing this. That rings a bell. That was for the
Ricoh Theta V or Theta 5. And that dollar for dollar might be one of the best cameras you could buy for real estate because it shoots 4K video, it shoots 360. It's got really good the software that comes with it. So it's, yeah, Jonathan's got one right there. So it's the Ricoh Theta 5. It's about $1,000, but you're going to get in that way cheaper than you'll get into, a professional level DSLR micro four thirds, and it does a hell of a lot more.
I love that. I appreciate that a lot. I took a good amount of notes. Sorry, everyone, for taking so much time on this, by the way. My apologies.
No worries, man. All right, guys, I do have to run. I've got a hard stop today. Thank you guys for being here.
For the input, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, always.
Before we go, I have just take note of the question I have in there, and if you have a chance later on, just respond to it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that.
Oh yeah, I sent you something as well, but no rush.
Okay, cool. I'll get back to you guys. Thanks.
All right.